Right, welcome ladies and gents. The Penguin has released episode 1 and this is my review. This will be as non-spoilers as possible, so you guys can watch it if you haven't watched The Penguin. I thought that, well yeah, if you haven't watched The Penguin, this is absolutely amazing. I had just a fantastic time. Absolutely fantastic. It was everything I had hoped it would be. So we open immediately where we left off in The Batman. So the end of the Batman, of course, the Riddler had set off all those explosives, which allowed part of the sea, I think it was a seawall, to come down, which caused mass flooding. So we open up actually immediately at the end of that. It's actually a beautiful shot because we are panning up from the floor. It's part of the trailer. Pans up from the floor. We see Penguin, Oswald Cobb. Some have said his name's Oz Cobb. He actually does get called Oswald Cobb in this episode, so I'm going to go with Oswald Cobb. We see him standing there in the window overlooking the city of Gotham, and we're interspersed with newsreels. And the newsreels are really, it's a great way to fill in the gaps of what's happening, and also a quick refresher, because the Batman was released quite a while ago, to be honest. So having a quick recap in this format, I think, was probably the smartest way to go about it. And it's talking about the power vacuum, it's talking about Falcone obviously being a rat and being killed, and then his son potentially taking on the role of the Kingpin of Gotham. And then we zoom in on Oswald Cobb's face as he overlooks the city of Gotham. And again, I'm blown away by just how fantastic the prosthetic works are, the practical effects for Colin Farrell. You just wouldn't know it was him. You would not know it was him. And we didn't get that much of him in the Batman. We got a fair amount, but we didn't get that much. So having an hour of this character, immersing yourself in it, you would, I finished the episode and I'm looking at a picture of Colin Farrell now to do this review, and it's just unbelievable to think that that's the character or the person I was just watching in character. It's madness. So what is this story about, and what was episode 1 about? Well, the whole story is about the power plays that Oswald Cobb is going to be doing, in Gotham's underworld, so he can eventually take power, presumably. That's what it's been sold as, and that's what I got the impression of for this episode. Now, the individual that took the place of the Kingpin of Gotham, Falcone's son, I think it was Al Falcone, if I remember off the top of my head. Well, anyway, something potentially happens to that individual, which then enters Kristen Milotti's character, who is Sophia Falcone. Very good performance. Very, very good performance. I'm not really familiar with Kristen Milotti, but she is apparently the individual who played the mother in How I Met Your Mother. And she puts in a stellar performance. She is unnerving. It's a very nuanced performance. She's just been released from Arkham Asylum. Or broke out. Who knows? We don't know. Presumably she's just out anyway. But the performance is really, really nuanced. There's a lot of hyper-animated facial expressions, which she does really, really well. She's got quite a unique face. Quite large eyes and, very expressive mouth. And she does that hyper-animation really, really well, which shows that sort of indulging in the craziness. Because obviously she's just come out of Arkham Asylum. But then she also does really slow, nuanced, subdued performance, where you don't quite know what she's thinking, but she's thinking something, and if you do find out, you're probably going to live to regret it. So essentially what I got from this episode is it's going to be this power play between the Penguin, Oswald Cobb, and Sophia Falcone, and then everything else around it. Now we get the Maserati is back, so Oswald Cobb's car is back in this, and the sort of flamboyancy of the Penguin. But it's that performance that Colin Farrell puts in. It really is stellar. I think this is one of his best performances ever in his entire cinematic history. I don't think there is a more nuanced, wide-ranging performance. And you really get to grips with this character. They don't play the Penguin to be this sort of... They haven't written the Penguin to be a character that you necessarily sympathise with. Not at all. You know, he kills someone for that individual laughing at him. Because he talks about another gangster when he was growing up, and that gangster knew everyone's name in that area. And when that gangster died, they threw a parade for him. And this individual that Oswald kills laughs at him because he's like, that's your dream, isn't it? How pathetic. And he just bang, 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 just kills him, just murders him straight. But you see this motivation that the Penguin is almost not necessarily conflicted. Like, make no mistake, Oswald is not played to be a good character. There's nothing... He's an irredeemable character, right? Make no mistake, he's irredeemable. But he shows these facets of his personality and how he sort of accumulated to this point that he's at now, where he obviously saw these individuals that were revered as he was growing up, and he sort of worm his way in and kind of take what he wants. And it's fascinating. It's really interesting. And the Sophia Falcone character, played by Kristen Milotti, I'm really, really going to be curious to see where they go with it. Looking at some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, looking at the trailers, for instance, there's a hell of a lot there to unpack, which just looks, it looks like it's going to be a really, really good show. The Maserati's back, plum, not purple, it's plum, and the set pieces are the same. So you see the Iceberg Lounge, which was his club, but not really his club. It was Falcone's club. That's back, albeit, submerged, basically destroyed. The city is really cool. I mean, it does look just kind of like a normal city, but they've done a really good job dressing certain streets and things like this. The VFX, there's a lot of gunplay, there's a lot of car chases in this first episode. Fantastic. There's some prosthetic work, there's some dead bodies, fingers being cut off, things like this. All looks really, really good. I cannot wait to see what happens. Cannot wait to see what happens. So, if you haven't watched it, strong recommendation to watch it. It doesn't feel like a DC property, which is what I personally wanted with this. It feels like a normal gangster thriller series, basically, which is what I really, really wanted with this. I can't wait to see what the Penguin does, where he goes, and you can see his plotting, pitting, the Maronis against the Falcones. Just all of this, it's great. Clancy Brown's in this, plays Salvatore Maroni. Great, really, really good. And I can't wait to see Mark Strong's younger version of Carmine Falcone either. I think that's going to be fantastic. So yeah, I'm all in. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't watched it, please do watch it. And now we'll just talk some spoilers. So you can bugger off if you didn't want any spoilers. There you go. There's your spoiler warning. Right, so we open the episode with Oswald Cobb going to the Iceberg Lounge to basically steal things. He wants to go and steal things which Carmine Falcone had on various people. Right, so he sledgehammers his way into this thing. And who is there that pops up behind him? Well, it's the new kingpin of Gotham, Falcone's son. And the Penguin, Oswald Cobb, does his best to sort of subdue this man. Talks his way. The beauty of the Penguin is in his tongue, right? It's his ability to talk his way out of something. It's the quick mind of a man that's had to be really, really quick-witted throughout his life. And that's the really interesting thing about this character, I think, personally. Anyway, they then proceed to start to celebrate. He talks him round to celebrating. But yeah, no. He's the son is talking about big shoes to fill and blah, blah, blah. And Oswald's like, well, there's different kinds of power, And then he tells a story about his, the gangster on his block when he was growing up. And this guy just laughs at him. It's like, that's your dream. It's pathetic. It's weak. And he just laughs, and then literally out of nowhere, bang, 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 dead. Just dead. And you're like, what? Holy shit. What a great way to open the series, to know that there is risk, there is a real threat, no one is particularly safe, right? There are obviously certain key players which will be safe, but not everyone. I mean, that is Falcone's son, and he's dead. Just instantly. And the Penguin just laughs. The cinematography on this is absolutely just incredible. It's beautiful cinematography. The use of lenses are great. So he comes out, obviously, you know, trying to open up the trunk of his car to a bunch of kids trying to steal it, and he shoots at them, corners one of them, who is, well, he's played by Renzi Feliz, who's Victor, and he obviously collars him, says, "No, you work for me now. You're mine for tonight." It gets him to help him, and you can see that he's going to kill him. You can see it, but he's trying to sort of play it up and make sure this guy doesn't, you know, have like a completely awful last night on Earth. And then he begs for his life, and then he takes it, basically. Not takes his life, but yeah, he gives him his life back, so he has his life back. And then there's some other bits and pieces. It was just fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. The cinematography is great. The soundtrack is great. It's non-intrusive, but it's still very, very moody. And the writing's solid. I cannot wait to see what they do with this moving forward. Cannot wait. Sophia Falcone, again in spoilers, is just... Yeah. The lengths the Penguin will go to convince people, to coerce people to doing what he wants is just crazy. He's willing to almost get his arm chopped off. You know? And he's willing to sacrifice other people. Just, other people, killed. Yeah, I don't care. He's a liar, I'm not a liar. Yeah, he's a liar. Yeah, you wanted me to kill him? Yeah, kill him. Just merciless. As it should be, quite frankly. So there you go. I don't have much else to say. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. You guys really should watch it. I don't think you'd be disappointed. It was great. So yeah, let me know what you think down below if you watched it. Take care. Bye-bye now.